Podcast for Boston is brought to you by Mooney Dental in Woburn. Kevin Mooney is a proud BC alum. Also, we thank NWN, the official technology infrastructure partner of Boston College Athletics, and the Stockyard. Stop into the Stockyard in Brighton every Thursday night at 6 for the Bill O'Brien radio show. SeatGeek, they're the official ticket marketplace of BC Athletics. Find your tickets to Eagle games and much more. The podcast for Boston is brought to you in part by Catches Law Group. Just like the Eagles rely on teamwork to win on the field, you can count on Catches Law to fight for you in the courtroom. Over $3 billion recovered for our clients and no fee unless you win. Catches Law Group, the legal team on your side. The podcast for Boston is brought to you by Awaken 180. Pete Cronin, my broadcast partner in football, well, we both started Awaken 180, and we are loving it. We've already lost 14 pounds. I'm not surprised, though. I've seen so many others have success. We just needed to do it, and what's stopping you? Awaken180weightloss.com. Check them out today. You won't be disappointed.
I'll be the best alive. I'm gonna show you how to do it right. You'll see how you should be living life. But when you do, it's not that hard. Really gonna wanna give it up. I'll be the best alive. I'm gonna show you how to do it right.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the podcast for Boston. I'm John Mita Perel. Great to see the coach, Joanna Mack from women's basketball. How are you, Coach?
I'm great, John. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Good to see you. And here we are, the dawn of another season. It flies by, doesn't it?
It does. I can't even believe this is my 8th year. It feels like I just got here yesterday. Sometimes it feels like I've been here forever, but the majority of the time it feels like I just got here.
Yeah, we'll get to your 8-year tenure here, but this year we watched you a couple weeks ago play UConn down at Mohegan Sun, and I think a lot of fans were pleasantly surprised with that. You lost by 17, but you still hung. You played a really good fourth quarter. I think there's some positive signs, weren't there?
Absolutely. I told our team, after the game, what I was most impressed with was how we competed. Like, we stepped up to that, big stage, and there wasn't any intimidation to us. We looked like we belonged there, and they played really hard, and they sustained that competitiveness, like you mentioned, through the fourth quarter, where sometimes it's easy to think, well, we've been down the majority of the game, like we can just hang it up, but they really still continue to fight. And for me, that's the most important thing. We might not come out and win every game, but we need to compete for 40 minutes of every game.
Have you seen a competitive nature throughout the preseason? Do you like where it's going?
Oh, yeah. I've said this to my staff. They've definitely rejuvenated my love of getting into practice every day, and they do that because they have great personalities on the team, but they also are competitive. Like, they know when to turn it on, and when they turn it on, it doesn't get to be where it's like a catty or miserable thing to compete. Yep. It's like the way it's supposed to be, the way we grew up, like compete, go hard, almost come to blows at times, but then when practice is over, everybody's joking, laughing, and they've been a very fun team to coach.
You lost a lot in the offseason. How do you compensate for those absences?
I think what we've just done is approach this year as just a whole new year. Like, this is Boston College women's basketball for 25-26, and we're going to go into every practice being the team we are today. So this team has a lot of changes, both in personnel and in style. So we're going to embrace that and just kind of go into each thing that we do and do it for us, right? And that's probably one of our mottos that we talk about, is that we're all we have this year. Meaning, if we go into an away gym like Mohegan, let's be still super loud for each other. Let's really stick together. And I think they've built a really good chemistry off the court, which I thought it showed in that Connecticut game.
Did.
And I'm hoping that that's what's going to be kind of like our trademark this year, is how hard we compete together and without ego.
You mentioned your team identity. What is the Joanna Mack identity for this squad? What do you want it to be?
Yeah, I want it to be a combination of togetherness, but also really gritty. And I know all coaches use that word, but I started that word, John. I really did. I've been using that word.
I don't doubt it.
I've been using that word for over a decade and a half, right? So, but with grittiness, I want them to look like, when you watch our team play, you're going to say, boy, that BC women's basketball team, you can tell they love each other, they love the game, and they're just going out and playing as hard as they can. And that's what I want to see from them.
And for that to happen, what needs to come together?
We need to get down, the stickler of things with offense, right? So we are still missing the boat on how hard we set screens and making sure our timing of our plays and our spacing gets better. So those are the technical things. I think on the gritty end of things, we got to rebound the ball. We have to have more than one opportunity to score on the offensive end. And then on the defensive end, we have to keep teams, if they get an opportunity, to just one. And so that's something that rebounding has to be a staple of what we do because we're undersized.
Yep.
So, we talk a lot about it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog, right? So we have to really, on the rebounding end, not worry about the fact that we're going to be outsized. And a lot of our opponents are going to outsize us, but just compete and be gritty and beat them to the ball by getting leverage and then making it a foot race.
As an old point guard, you were a fantastic point guard. What are you looking for in a point guard this year?
Yeah, and you want them to have vision. You want them to be pass first, but still with that mentality, you want them to score.
Yeah.
And I think Athena Tomlinson has really come along as that prototypical point guard. She understands that she's got a lot of shiftiness to her. She's got speed on top of speed, super fast. But what I think that her improvement from last year to this year is her shooting consistency and her also willingness to be a pass-first player. So I think her teammates really want to run hard for her because they know that she's going to deliver them the look. And then she knows when that is taken away that she has the green light to go ahead and take the shots that she needs to take to score. And so she's been really fun to coach. And she shows that she's been here a year, right? Yep. Under just the way I coach, I think she gets me a little bit more this year, which has been fun.
You brought in a lot of players in the portal, one from Georgetown College in Kentucky,
yes,
who had a 23-point night against
yes,
UConn. What can you tell us about Miss McDaniel?
Yes, well, T was a bright spot in that game, and she is the bright spot on our team when it comes to being an athlete that can play basketball, right? She's like a true definition of a hooper. So she comes to practice every day. That's one thing that she's working on. She's got some nagging injuries that she's consistently trying to get through.
Yep.
But when she's healthy, she's really good. And so that's what we have to figure out, how to get her to be healthy on a daily basis. But T, I love that she comes. I think her story is going to be really great at the end of the year if we can get her to be as good as I think she can be, because to go through and be at the NAIA level and get to spend your fifth year playing here at Boston College and be a standout in the ACC, if we can make that happen for her, that's going to be a great story.
What do you think the differences are? What are the challenges for not only her, but people that come into this level, whether it's NAIA or the Ivy League for that matter?
I don't, there's probably a pretty big difference between the NAIA and the Ivy League, but I think for the NAIA, for her, is just the amount of time you're just putting into it every day, right? It's just a consistency thing.
Yep.
Where when you play, I coached in the NAIA level, and when you're at that level, your best players are your best players, and they're head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah.
So sometimes that consistency that they have to bring every day doesn't have to happen. But at this level, this is a much higher level, so you have to learn that consistency, and that's what she's really working on, because when she gets that down, boy, she's going to be unstoppable, in my opinion.
The podcast for Boston is brought to you by Mooney Dental, an award-winning high-tech dental office in Woburn. Kevin Mooney is a BC grad, and he loves his Eagles. He's well-respected in the dental community at Mooney Dental. They take great pride in providing their patients with the highest quality dental health care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. Visit mooneydental.com for more information or call 781-621-9387 to book a new patient visit. Yeah, no, it definitely looks very promising, and you have one of the great stories in college sports in Emma Lapinto,
Yes.
who is a two-time lacrosse All-American here after she transferred from Florida. She was a great high school player in Manhasset outside New York City. So she's coming into this with eyes wide open, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'll tell you, she's a national champion for a reason, right? She is the epitome of hard work, grittiness, fun to coach, fun to be around, brings out the best in her teammates. I could go on about Pinto Beans. She's amazing. And what she brings to us, though, is that, like, character that she has no ego out there. And
Wow.
she's kind of funny because we have a thing that we do, green light shooting, where they do these competitions within themselves, right? It's just individual competitions. And there's a high priority usually on time, consistency, and they're very hard to get. And to get a green light, I mean, that's, like, to put it in perspective, last year I had one kid get one once.
Wow.
All year.
No kidding.
Right? And she's at Ohio State now, right? So it's very hard to get them. This year's team and the players on the team have gotten them weekly. We've had 4 kids consistently every week get a green light.
That's fantastic.
And Emma Pinto was one of them 2 weeks ago.
What's she really?
And that is super hard. Like, it's a hard thing to do. And what we do, we have a screen in the gym, and they write their names.
Yeah.
Like, one of the coaches or a GA will write who has the green light, because the rule is if you have a green light, I can't say anything to you no matter where you pull from.
Oh, okay.
So you earn them for the week.
Wow.
And, if you want to pull up from half court, I have to just let it go. I can't yell at you. I can't say anything.
I love it.
So where they put their names up there, and they put Emma's up there as national champion. It did not her name, just national champion. And I looked over at it. I said, Pinto Beans, you got a green light? She was like, I did.
That's great.
So things like that, like, she just brings a lot of fun to the team, and she also brings that winning character. And she goes hard. When we run sprints at the end of practice, she makes everybody want to win the sprint because she's trying to win it.
Wow.
And I just think that's something that you can't put a price on.
So talk about culture, talk about grit. That's kind of a linchpin for you
Yes.
to have those type of players. No matter if she plays 5 minutes or if she plays 20, right?
Right. And that's the thing. She's not really even worried about that. She's just worried about making our team better, which is really cool.
As far as scoring goes this year, we mentioned a few players already, but what are you looking to do to enhance your offensive production?
Yeah, and that's still probably one of my biggest question marks going into this preseason non-conference games is I think that you'll see somebody different step up from the different nights. I don't think that we're going to have that consistent, this player is going to be our leading scorer every night. And I think that's why we'll be kind of hard to guard and fun to watch, because we'll have a group of probably 6 different players that could lead us in scoring on any given night. But collectively, they're all going to have to play really well for us to get any wins. And I think they're starting to realize that. And that's where I'm saying kind of put their ego aside and not even put like I want to be a double-digit scorer. Just I want to win.
Yep.
And if all of them would just think like that, I think different people will step up each night, depending on the defensive mismatches or who's left open or who gets hot. And I think there's potential for different. Like I said, we have 4 green light shooters almost every week, so we have potential for different people to be hot. But I think you're going to see production from Lily Carmody, Amira Anderson, Jocelyn Greer, Kayla Rolfe, Aaron Hout, and then Ava McGee. Like I can now almost name all of them because they all, and we already mentioned T and AT, and we have Kai Henderson. There's so many players on our team that could step up on any given night, and I think that's going to be, it's a little challenging as their coach because there's a lot of kids that maybe haven't necessarily separated themselves because they're all kind of doing well.
Right.
But they all have a little bit of a deficiency that's going to have to make them depend on each other to win games.
Podcast for Boston is brought to you by the Stockyard, a classic American tavern that has served quality food and drinks to the greater Boston area for over 40 years. A 150-car parking lot, multiple private function venues, and 200-seated dining area makes the Stockyard a Boston rarity. Passion for excellent food and exceptional, friendly service is the Stockyard philosophy. Looking for the perfect venue to host your private event? The Stockyard Restaurant is a great spot for intimate dinners, birthday parties, and corporate events. I know Kai Henderson might want to take my job someday.
Yes.
She's a podcaster.
For sure.
She loves broadcasting, it seems, and she's
She's really good at it, too.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
She's the second all-time leading scorer in Central New York behind Brianna Stewart.
Yes.
She's out of Utica, New York, and it seems to me that's a good get for you.
Oh, yeah, great get, and even better person. Just such a good person. And like I said, I think this broadcasting You definitely should have her on the show. Maybe
to.
she could be a host.
Well,
She can maybe do a little hosting
now we're talking
for you.
job security.
Maybe if you
Joanna.
get you have a little cold.
There you go.
I need a fill-in.
Bring her
Yeah.
on. She can take the class I teach at BC. We have to get her hooked up with that.
Oh, she definitely needs to do that.
We definitely would like that. But just reading her bio, it seems like that's another building block.
For sure.
Yes. When you look ahead to the ACC, a couple weeks here until you get into league play, but what are the challenges?
Consistency. Like you said, we're all new to BC. We're all new together. We've been working hard since June, but we still have to find that consistency because we're not a veteran-led team. We're just a team that's coming together, to be honest. So this coming together, there's always bumps in the road, and there's the highs and the lows, and if we can find that consistency, and I hope it doesn't have to be consistency with playing hard. I hope that's something that we can always hang our hat on, and then it's just going to be the technical things.
Seems like every time you hear an opposing coach talk, Gino Ariema, anybody, they'll say BC's a tough out because they're well coached, they work hard, they have the grit. You must feel pretty good when you hear that.
Oh, of course. And I want this team to be when we talk to them, they use the word dogs, like DAWGS, right? And
I like it.
that's their word, not my word. But that's something that we're challenging them to be, right? Because that's what they want. And that they want that as their identity.
Yeah.
So that fires me up. And that's why I said this team has brought a new life to me coaching them because
Good.
they have that grit to them and they have that selfless energy that they're bringing to practice every day that would fire any coach up. So I'm grateful to be able to coach them.
8 years now, as you mentioned. It's been a heck of a run. It seems like every year you surpass expectations. I think 5, 7 years you've finished higher than the so-called experts thought you were going to be picked. How do you explain that?
I know the one year that we did, and it was because of COVID. So
There you go.
yeah. I think, we wear the underdog label pretty well, and we we thrive off of it. And we talked about that even when the ACC preseason rankings came out. We said, is that who we are? And of course, the players were like, no, that's not who we are. That's not who we want to be. I was like, well, let's practice like it because, we got to prove ourselves every night. And
Yeah.
I think we like to be on that end of it. And being an underdog is definitely the way I've grown up, and it's kind of who I am. So I love that I have a team that embraces it, and they want to prove themselves as well.
What do you think day one when you walked in here? Now, from that time span, what have you learned about yourself?
Oh, I've learned that you really never stop growing every day.
Yeah.
I think these players teach me new things every year. As a mom, I'm learning how to say goodbye to my first son that's now in college as a freshman. And, you grow and you realize how much having people that you work with and care about is important, and having that second family at work. And, all those things have been a big growing process. But I love that at Boston College we work with great people, and we're just surrounded by good people like you and all the
thanks.
people that we get to be around. And I think this team embraces that kind of BC way.
It does. Right back at you, by the way.
Thanks.
We're lucky. Whenever you describe BC, at least when I do, it is definitely familiar and a family, and that's huge. A lot of places you can't say that about. Your coaching staff trying to build a family this year, new family.
Right.
You have 5 new faces.
5 new faces. Well, 4 new faces, 1 elevated face.
One elevated. What's that like for you?
That was challenging at first because it was all new players and a lot of new people on staff. And the challenge is just making sure everybody's cohesive, right? To manage everybody,
Yeah.
to really, the best teams and the best coaching staffs are ones that want to bring out the best in each other. And I think I got really lucky with this group because they embody that spirit. Not just the players, and of course your players are going to emulate your coaching staff, right? That's
Sure.
part of coaching. And I think we put together a really solid coaching staff that's working hard and really devoting themselves to our players' success. And individual development is something we also really pride ourselves on. And since I've been here at Boston College, and I think we're seeing our players get better every day. And that's because of their hard work, but it's also because of the hard work our staff is willing to put into them.
And when you interview a coach to be an assistant, what are you looking for?
That's one of the things. I'm looking for them to be a good person, one,
Excellent.
to be a smart basketball mind,
Yep.
but then also to be somebody that really celebrates other people's success, because as coaches, that's what we do. It's really about the players.
Yep.
And and I also like them to be a little bit funny. If I can joke, and they don't necessarily have to make jokes, but they have to laugh at mine a little bit. And if they do that, then that always is a huge bonus.
Little sense of humor never
Yeah, at
hurt
least,
anybody.
yeah. Like they can't take offense to
No.
the
of course
things I
not.
say.
Of course not. The question is, can you beat any of them in cornhole?
I can.
You're like a professional cornhole player.
One day.
I think you need to be on that tour eventually.
I want to be. That's my retirement plan.
Is it really?
It is.
Cornhole or pickleball?
Or pickleball. Well, I don't. You got to be really good at pickleball. Takes a lot more coordination.
It does.
Cornhole is more like a relaxed vibe of backyard
Yeah, it's a barbecue.
Exactly. But cornhole is fun, and I think when I actually get to play it a lot, I could get really good.
Well, you're such a good athlete.
Yeah, right.
You, wait a minute now. People don't know.
I'm not a
They
good
may not
athlete.
know that you're the all-time assist leader in
Yes.
NCAA history.
I don't know that qualifies me as a good athlete, though. That
Yes, it
well
does.
qualifies me
Yes,
as
it does.
having good vision.
Good vision, coach on the floor.
Right.
Did you always feel like coaching was the destination?
No, I really didn't, but I always coached, which is kind of odd to say. Like, even when I was in 9th, 10th grade in high school, I was coaching the 5th and 6th grade team that I played on.
No kidding.
Yeah, like I've always been asked to coach in college. I coached an AAU team, but I never really thought I'd be a coach until my last basketball game in college. And I was like, whoa, it's over. And I just actually had this conversation with a couple of our graduate players, right? I said, you don't realize how much you're going to miss the game until you don't have it.
Right.
And so, make every moment count this year, because it just goes by so fast.
It does, and does 8 years feel like it's been a blur?
It does, for sure.
Yeah.
It's gone by fast, and time flies when you're having fun, and we've had our challenges, but I think a lot of my time here has been trying to get things accomplished and do things that people don't expect, and we've done some of that. We've also had some lows, and so those lows are hard to get through, but it's the people that you surround yourself with that help you through it all, and each year I've just had great people.
Says a lot. Finally, Holy Cross coming up Monday.
Yes.
What do you expect to see?
I expect to see a Holy Cross team that wants to come here and probably give us some payback from last year.
Yep.
They're going to be well coached. They're going to work hard. They're going to run their sets well. They're a disciplined team, and we're going to have to step up because they're definitely a more veteran team than we are. So we're going to have to step up to the challenge of being a little bit more disciplined on both ends of the floor and just working really hard and hopefully showing that Boston College is on the rise again as a women's basketball program, and love to have a crowd in Conti for that game.
I'm sure they'll be there 6 o'clock
Yes.
on Monday.
Yes.
And you have a pretty good home slate coming up.
We do. Yeah, so please come out and support us and, yell and scream at the officials, because that's always fun, and that way I don't have to.
Have you calmed down?
Oh,
you think?
yes. I think I really have. That's another thing that you asked what I've learned. I've really tried to calm down, even in practice, try to find more joy in the day-to-day of practice and kind of celebrate the little things and make sure I don't take anything too personally that happens within the game of basketball.
Good. See, you got the philosophy down. You got everything down. I feel like
I'm trying. I literally, as I'm saying it, I'm like, okay, take note, do that.
That's pretty good, Joanna. Pretty good. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
Joanna McNamee on the podcast for Boston. Thanks for watching, everybody.
I'll be the best alive. I'm gonna show you how to do